and welcome to my kitchen. We've been cooking our Irish stew, and I'm going to make a starch to go along with it. Now, we've got all sorts of veggies and potatoes and parsnips and turnips and all kinds of vegetables in that stew. But instead of making noodles or potatoes or rice, you know, I've got some cute potatoes in there, but we're going to make barley. Now, you may think that's unusual. I love barley, and for those of us who are prepping, barley is really an amazing grain that you should consider putting in your food storage. Barley contains 8 different amino acids. It contains all sorts of micronutrients and minerals, vitamins, and it has a lot of protein in it, and it's got fabulous properties that are necessary for human survival. But in other parts of the world, mostly in Northern Europe and in Scandinavia, they eat barley all the time. And barley, you know, it's more common to use it as an animal feed, but it's really delicious. You know, you may be familiar with beef and barley soup, but other than that, have you ever really eaten barley? We're going to cook barley today like you would cook rice. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And Rick's going to let the cat out. This is pearled barley. And I buy this in bulk. You can find it sometimes in grocery stores, you can find it alongside the dry beans. In the commissary, I find it in the Latin food section. I also buy this in number 10 cans from Thrive. You get a whole case. Now, 6 number 10 cans of barley is less than $40. And barley, I think, is an amazing thing to have because barley is a cereal grain. Barley can be used as a breakfast cereal. It can be used as a supplement to protein. It can be used hot or cold, and it's really delicious. But there is a trick to cooking barley, and that's what I'm going to teach you how to do now. So I store my barley in my mason jar, my big mason jar. And just like I do with my rice, I'm going to measure out 2 cups of barley into this fine mesh sieve. And we're going to rinse it under cool running water.
Sorry, I'm working around a speed bump in here.
And I like to get my hands in there and just let the water run through it. You want to get all of the, you know, there's some dust on there, like with any grain that's been stored. Rice especially, there's a lot of starch on the outside, and rinsing this off now is going to help you later. Now, once I get this nice and rinsed the way I want it, that's probably just fine. So I'm going to bring my pot over here. You're going to need a very large pot. Okay. And like this. I'm going to turn on my filter. And I'm going to fill the pot about 2/3 of the way with water. Or maybe half with water. You want to give the barley plenty of room. Now, barley is not like rice. It is not going to absorb all of your cooking liquid. You are going to drain it at the end. That's just about right. Okay, we're going to put this, we're not going to put any salt or anything in here. I'm going to set this on medium-high heat, and I'm going to bring it to a boil as fast as possible. And I'm going to let it boil for 1 minute. When that is done, we're going to come back, and I'll show you what happens next. Okay, we're at a boil, and you need to keep an eye on this because the barley is very starchy, and it will boil over if you're not careful. So if it gets to like a really big rolling boil, it's going to boil over. So you just need to keep an eye on it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drain it. And this is nowhere near ready to eat. So what we're going to do is we're going to rinse it with cold water. And we're going to get all that extra starch off of there. Like I said, this is not ready to eat at all. It's still very hard. And just as a little side note, barley was really prized by the ancient Egyptians. And this is one of their main sources of grain.
That's like a rice starch.
It does. Now we're going to cover it with water again. And there really are no measurements. I mean, because we're not absorbing all of the liquid. We just want it to have plenty of room to move around in the pot and get hydrated. So I filled that pot up, I'd say, by half. And then we're just going to put it back on the stove, and I'm going to put it on medium heat. We're going to boil this for about an hour. And then when we come back, we'll drain it and it'll be ready to serve. Our barley has been simmering in the water for about an hour, and I checked it about halfway through and I added a little more water. You don't want it to boil dry. You want it to have more liquid in it than you think that it needs, because we're going to go ahead over to the sink now. We're going to drain this and we're going to rinse it with hot water.
That reminds me of oatmeal.
And it can be eaten very similar to oatmeal. It's much better for you than oatmeal, actually. If you wish, I would highly recommend that you go ahead and well, that's not going to be big enough, so I need to get a bigger colander is all. No, I want them to look up the nutritional value of barley. And I didn't realize I didn't rinse that enough. What? It's what?
They need to get familiar with cooking it, so they need to practice.
That's true, and you need to practice. I mean, it's easy to throw a handful of barley into your soup pot, and that's an excellent way of using it. But barley can be used a lot of different ways. A lot of different ways. And the reason I want to rinse it is because barley will continue to be very starchy.
I told you my mom used to do sauerkraut barley all the time.
Yeah, I've never done that. I think I'll have to try that. But I think I'm getting ready to make sauerkraut. We're going to do a video or two on how to lacto-ferment your own sauerkraut, because sauerkraut is nothing more than cabbage and salt and thyme. But you can see how different this looks now that we have rinsed it. I'm getting all that starchy water out of there. And I'm going to just return it back to the pot. And give it a good shake. There we go. And you can, and I did not flavor this. I could have added the extra broth that I took out of my stew to the barley, but I wanted to, in case there's leftovers, I want to be able to have it for breakfast or do whatever I want with it, you know, so that it is not limited to just a main course. Now, when you...
I just want to make a comment that someday real soon here we'll be replacing this sink with a stainless steel one.
Oh, thank goodness. I hate those white plastic sinks. But one thing I want to mention, you know, we're going to use this in place of, you're going to use this as our starch tonight in place of rice or noodles or, you know, mashed potatoes or whatever. But if you chill this, you can use this like tabbouleh, which is cracked bulgur wheat. You add in some olive oil, some tomatoes, some chopped vegetables, and you make a nice cold salad. You can eat this cold as a cereal with milk and honey. You can eat it hot as a cereal with cream and sugar, and it would be absolutely delicious. And the health benefits of barley are vast. So go look up some information about barley, learn about what it contains and how good it is for your body. You know, hundreds of years worth of people can't be wrong. The ancient Egyptians swore by barley. So, there you have it. That's how you make barley. It's super easy. I mean, there's a couple of processes you have to go through, and maybe that's why we don't do it, because it's a little more detailed than just rice. But so what? Rinse, boil, and rinse, and you're done. I mean, it takes about an hour and a half, but really, it takes a little bit longer than rice, but you know, put it into your schedule and give it a try. Eat it with your stew, and I hope you'll love it. So until next time, I'll see ya.